This is a community-supported legal education channel. Find out how you can support our mission at the links in the description below. This is the start, I think, of the dispute. Hey, Aaron Carter, you are using my artwork to promote your merchandise. I have not given you permission to do so. My art is being commercially exploited by people on a daily basis. We artists have rights too. I'd really appreciate if you could retweet this so he'll see it. And this comes from Jonas Jödicke. I don't know how to pronounce it. I believe he's a Berliner. He's an artist from Germany. He says he has had Madonna use his art in the past, photoshopped her face onto one of his paintings. I'm so fed up with people taking my hard work for their own purposes without asking. Celebs like Aaron Carter should set an example, especially since he's also from a creative background and knows copyright law. I don't think he's demonstrating a knowledge of copyright law here, but we'll get to that. If they think they can take art and do whatever they want with it, anybody can and will. If they're not held responsible, people won't stop treating artists like crap. And Aaron Carter has responded, "You should have taken it as a compliment, dick. A fan of mine sent this to me. Oh, here they go again. The answer is, no, this image has been made public, and I'm using it to promote my clothing line, aaroncarter.com. I guess I'll see you in small claims court." And I think he means to say fucker, but he says fuckery. And the original, let me see if I can bring up the original on my profile here, because I did a little comparison. I tweet a lot, apparently. So the original, I compared these two. I overlaid the Aaron Carter, the sort of, the thinner version here is the Aaron Carter post. He was even using it as the header of his Twitter profile. And then this larger black and white, I've got them at 50% opacity so you can see them. But you can see that they're the exact same image. And Jonas goes on to say his artwork, Brotherhood, that this whole Aaron Carter fuss is about, is actually part of a series. You've got 2 lions in a heart shape. You've got 2 deer in a tree of life shape, or whatever that is. You've got 2 fish in an infinity shape. You've got 2 wolves in a yin-yang shape. I really like the 2 wolves one myself. I'm always quoting the 2 wolves parable or story. Aaron Carter responds again, "Here's 2 TOO clout chasers," whatever that means. "I was speaking about my family and a friend sent me the work. You're, Y-O-U-R, absolutely immature," he says while misspelling words. And without using any punctuation. "And I create my own artwork. Stop trying to get clout of my name from a picture I posted. Oh, and fuck you and have a nice day. Whole challenge. I promote people. Hashtag fuckery." Meanwhile, Jonas had said, "Here's to all the artists working their butts off every day to improve and make their dreams a reality. Aaron Carter and others may think we shake these off our sleeves in no time, but no one gets to see the tears and sweat we put into our passion." And here's his progress. He is now 25. The artwork was painted in 2017, the one on the right here. And you can also follow me on Instagram at JoJo's Art. And I suggest you do. It looks amazing. He has said that he has now, somewhere in here, I guess I skipped it, but Jonas has now said that there's been a lot of support and he's very grateful for the support. Meanwhile, Forbes has written an article about this. Berlin artist Jonas Jödicke speaks up about Aaron Carter art fiasco and goes on to say that Carter responded in a way that was less than professional, admitting that he was in fact using the image to promote his clothing merchandise and didn't plan on taking it down. So I don't see how that is anything less than what we would call per se copyright infringement. When let me tell you a little story. I had a client once, and some of this client's matter is still confidential, so I'm going to generalize and create a hypothetical from the situation so that I'm not talking about a specific client, and this client never has to worry about anybody figuring it out. Because we were able to avoid a court case. None of this is on the record anyplace, because we used some ancient tactics. Ancient strategy and tactics all the way back from Sun Tzu. There's a really good rule when you are in an adversarial situation with someone, whether you're playing a video game, whether you're playing a real in-life sports game, whether you're playing a game of court battles, litigation, never interrupt your opponent when they're making a mistake. Along those lines, if you think you can get your opponent to make a mistake, by all means, get them to make that mistake and take advantage of it. It's part of the game. It's part of litigation. So in our case, in a previous case that I was prepared to litigate, someone had used my client's song without permission. Not the whole song, but they had used the hook and they had written their own song. They didn't have permission and they hadn't paid a license fee, and we didn't think it was a fair use. And for the purposes of this hypothetical, just take my statement for granted. We could argue all day about what circumstances could have made it a fair use or not, but just for this hypothetical, it was not a fair use. So we contacted, or rather, I had my client contact the opposing party directly. And instead of being all mad and uppity and you stole my copyright, we just said, hey, we saw that you used our song. What are you doing? And the person wrote back, oh yeah, it's a great song. I loved it. Sure, yeah, we took your line. It was awesome. We thanks for letting us use it. And then we wrote back with the attorneys to their attorneys saying, we didn't give you permission to use it and we'd like a license fee. And since you've made a significant profit off of it, because that person's song was much more popular than ours, or my clients, we got a license fee of a fairly substantial. I can't go into numbers, but substantial compared to the meager license fee that would have been asked at a earlier stage. And this is the same sort of thing. Aaron Carter might have had some kind of defense until he came back and said, I'm using it for this. Well, then he's just admitted that he used it for that. And even then, that's technically now evidence in a matter, in a legal matter, even if a legal claim has not been made in court. And you're not supposed to destroy evidence. So if somebody was smart enough to serve him with some kind of notice to preserve evidence, then he might not even be able to delete tweets, or might have to. I don't think you can hide tweets. We'll see, maybe just preserve the evidence in some way. But he has some kind of duty to preserve evidence if served with a notice to preserve evidence. And he's admitted that he used the thing, and it's an exact copy. I don't even have to go through a substantial similarity analysis because he didn't create it himself. He literally copied it, violating literally 17 USC 106.1, which is the first right of copyright, which is no copying without permission. The copyright owner has the right to control copying. Now, why did Aaron Carter think he had a right to use it? Well, a fan sent it to me. That doesn't change anybody's ownership of copyrights. It's in the public. No, lots of art is displayed in public at the behest or permission or desire of the copyright owner. And then I think maybe he got that confused with public domain, which is when you could use something. So if either the copyright had expired or if an author had assigned the copyright to the public domain by word or by deed, or if even there was some kind of implied license or something, those would all be good arguments. But he didn't make any of those arguments. He just said, screw you, I can use it however I want. And that then is the next thing that the next lesson that I thought I'd bring to you is that I recently heard this from another attorney. You can be right and an asshole, or you can be wrong and nice. But you shouldn't be both wrong and an asshole. Certainly, Aaron Carter could have made a genuine mistake and could have backed off and been contrite, and probably this would be nothing. He probably could have even turned it into a nice situation for both of them. Instead, he is so immature and stupid that he just goes mouthing off, admitting his copyright infringement, and getting half of the world pissed off at him for taking advantage of an artist. And he himself is some kind of artist. I didn't know who he was. Someone told me that he is the brother of Nick Carter from Backstreet Boys. Great. Kim Kardashian is the daughter of that guy who represented O.J. Simpson. Like, great. I'm glad he was able to leverage his brother's fame into his own fame. Great. Why can't he figure out copyright law? He's been on TV. He's been in movies. He's released music albums. And he has lots of people who could tell him what he's doing wrong or right and how to do it right. But he didn't. He stopped short of all of that and then mouthed off publicly back to the artist from which he seems to have stolen artwork from. So that's what's going on there. And he's apparently 32 years old and acts like a 14-year-old. Aaron's party music video back on Nickelodeon. Is that what that was? I might have been too old.
I know that somebody on Twitter had tried to say because he made some adjustments to the photo and he was using it for a different purpose. So he's using it to advertise a clothing line rather than what the original artist had done. Therefore, it's transformative. And I was wondering if you wanted to speak to that.
Sure. Transformation is when you alter or incorporate someone else's work into your larger work. And I don't mean larger has to mean in size, although it could. What I mean is if, and here's an example, the Star Trek parody lawsuit that's currently going on now, Oh, the Places You'll Boldly Go, it's currently being appealed because a district court said that the repurposing of Dr. Seuss's Oh, the Places You'll Go into a Star Trek universe style is transformative, and that the way that they've done it also complies with the rest of fair use, and this makes it a parody. Another example was where someone had purchased copies of newspapers back when newspapers were actually printed. I know that they still are, just not in the same quantity. And they had not just purchased a copy and then made copies. No, they purchased individual copies and then cut out parts of the newspaper, put them on coasters, like drink coasters, and covered them in epoxy or whatever, and resold those. Not only was that first sale, but also transformative. So that's derivative work. It's a transformative derivative work. However, just taking a visual artist's painting and posting it on Twitter, what have you transformed? How have you made that a new work? Well, it's a new purpose. You've given it new purpose, a purpose to sell merchandise. No. An artistic purpose, a criticism or commentary purpose. There are listed purposes in copyright law. Simply taking someone's art and copying it is actually what we call a per se or automatic copyright infringement. But let's continue with the fair use analysis. Did he take only a little bit of it, only as much as he needed for his criticism or commentary purpose? No, he used the majority of the image. Maybe you could argue it's cropped on the top and the bottom because of the Twitter header. That's not what we're talking about. It has to be for a criticism or commentary purpose, and you have to use only what's necessary to make your criticism or commentary purpose. Not a, I like this, is not a criticism or commentary purpose. The nature of the copyrighted works. Factor 2. The original work is a artist's visual art, and the use of it is as visual art to promote his clothing line and his Twitter. Not a purpose that the copyright law recognizes as favoring the promotion of science and useful arts. Those purposes would be for education in classrooms, making copies for classroom use. The teacher's going to talk about Johan Jödicke's work, and is going to pass out copies of the guy's work and talk about the artistic the art and the creation of that work in an education setting, in a classroom, privately. It might be for criticism or for commentary. These are not criticism or commentary. Both works are commercial works. Both works are creative works. These are not things that fall under the fair use factor number 2, the nature of the copyrighted work. Instead, a court will see the creative work as desiring maximum protection or deserving of maximum protection. The third fair use factor I said was how much did they use. The fourth factor is the market usurpation factor. What is a visual artist in the market for? Do they just want to market pleasing images for you to take and post on your Twitter profile promoting your merchandise? No. The original artist is in the market of selling and licensing both copies and the use of their original work. And this directly usurps the market. Aaron Carter can pay for a license. And I don't mean can as in do you have the money. I mean he's in a position where if he wants to use someone else's work to promote his, he has to pay for a license. He has to get permission. It is not a situation where it's some other use that doesn't diminish the original market. Back to the Dr. Seuss example, the lower court said that the criticism and commentary in the parody is not something that Dr. Seuss Enterprises would have licensed it for. Therefore, there's no market usurpation. Market usurpation means that it acts as a market substitute. If I can go to Aaron Carter's Twitter page and see Jonas's work, in the Brotherhood Lions painting, then I don't have to go to Jonas's page to see that. And it does serve a market usurpation function. So this is very clearly to me not a fair use. It is, in fact, we don't even get to the fair use analysis. It is a per se copyright infringement, in my opinion, in my professional opinion. And because Aaron Carter admitted that he was using it for a commercial purpose, for promotion, it's an open and shut case. If Jonas just pursues it, Aaron Carter is going to owe him some kind of damages. That's how I see it. Now, there's other problems here. We still have the issue where you have to register the copyrights. You have to register them in time. If you want certain remedies, you have to register them before the infringement takes place. So it's very likely that Jonas is only able to go after actual damages here unless he has registered the copyrights. And he's a Berliner. He's in Germany. Is he going to register his copyright in the US and then everywhere else as well? Or is he, or what? So he probably hasn't registered his copyright. Without knowing more, I'm going to assume that he didn't. So he's only going to get actual damages from Aaron Carter. And he might not even be able to get attorney's fees for those actual damages. So we'd have to figure out whether there's a claim for attorney's fees in that actual damages claim. One of the previous cases we read, I forget which one it was, said that maybe you don't get attorney's fees when you don't have a copyright registered. We want people to register their copyrights. But still, really stupid situation. Don't be an Aaron Carter. Don't misuse other artists' work. Think about it. When you go to make a use of someone's work, you have to go through a whole fair use analysis. Using someone else's work to advertise for your clothing line is never going to be a fair use. Under any circumstances that I can think of. Maybe there's a way. Maybe the collage example. Maybe if Aaron Carter's work was an artistic work and Jonas's work was just a tiny thumbnail inside a much larger collage or something. Maybe there's a way. But certainly,
maybe if it was a parody, you can
parody.
Have yeah, so if you had Looney Tunes or something like that, but then they were doing something that the Looney Tunes characters normally wouldn't do.
No, but remember, you couldn't use Looney Tunes to make fun of something else and have it be parody. You couldn't use Looney Tunes to sell your cars or sell your clothing line because it's not commentary and criticism on the original. Transformation must be commentary, criticism, or repurposing related to the original. Or it's also possible to have transformation that's not related to the original, but parody, for example, and fair use must be something that is criticism and commentary on the original. Selling clothing is not criticism and commentary on the original, unless there's something more. Remember, we had the trademark fair use issue where the North Face was fighting against the trademark parody, the North Butt.
South Butt.
I thought it was the North Butt. I thought it was the North Butt.
South Butt.
The South Butt? Okay. Both of them make sense, but that was also not adjudicated because the parties came to an agreement. I believe the clothing line also isn't being sold anymore, so the agreement must have included something that motivated the South Butt not to keep marketing their products. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know if I missed anything. If there's anything to add to the story, post it in the comments. Try to include a link if you can. It's really hard for us to... Somebody makes a, well, did you see this? And then there's nothing helping us try to find out what we didn't see. So please include a link. Otherwise, it's difficult to tell who's trolling us and who's not. And if there's a major update to the story, we will certainly let you know. I might even reach out to Jonas at some point, but I think they're a little bit overwhelmed right now with all the attention. And yeah, so we'll leave them alone for now. So that's our show, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and this has been another episode of Lawful Masses, your favorite YouTube legal education and legal news channel. Thank you to all of our supporters on sponsus.com/law and patreon.com/ljfrench for your support in the month of January. Thank you to the $50 plus supporters: Apernari, John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Kyle Mudrak, Michael Pearce, Jan Negrey, Spirit Bear, Daniel Perez, Snorre Wisotzky, Blackleaf, Joe Tyson, Eevi, Benjamin Hitov, Steven, Cute Grills in your area, and Ottah. And thank you to the rest of you that will be scrolling on the screen in front of you. I love you all. I will see you in the videos that drop. I look forward to fully producing the copyright song for you and getting that out sometime in the next few weeks or months. Love you all. I'm Leonard French. Have a good one.